It says, I saw thrones that were seated, and those who'd been given authority to judge. And I saw the souls of those who'd been beheaded because of their testimony for Jesus and because of the word of God. They had not worshipped the beast or his image and not received the mark on their foreheads or on their hands. And notice this, they came to life and they reigned with Christ 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were over. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy are those who have a part in the first resurrection. The second death has no power over them, but they will be priests of God and of Christ and will, might circle the word, reign with him for 1,000 years. God made promises, and unlike us, when God makes a promise, whether you read it in the Old or New Testament, he's going to keep it. He made this outrageous promise to David about a descendant of yours will be on the throne forever. He made this outrageous promise, regardless of the geopolitical issues that happen in the world, to Abraham about a piece of land and about a nation and what he would do for that nation and those Jews and those people, not just by ethnic background, but by heart relationship of what he would do for them. And Jesus comes back, and you can read a little bit before because it's harsh and there's judgment and there's a battle and he makes everything right. And then for 1,000 years on this earth, there's those people who made it through that. There's us, New Testament saints. There's Old Testament saints. And for 1,000 years, all those promises and all those rewards, it's lived out. And I read this, and I didn't grow up reading the Bible, so I grew up as a real skeptic. And sometimes as I early on at least read the Bible, there was things that puzzled me. Like, God, obviously I don't need to know. But why 1,000 years? Why Christ? Why on the earth? Okay, I get fulfill your promises. I get that, but just sort of from a philosophical standpoint, because that's what I studied earlier. And I thought to myself, my parents were school teachers, and around our table, it was education every night. You pushed in the plates and great books, great authors, what was happening in the news. That was just what they did at our house. And so I grew up with all that. And a part of the educational system is that if we could just educate everyone in all the world, if people just could think rightly, if we could create an environment that's healthy and unpolluted, both intellectually and emotionally, and the environment, if all of that, see, man is basically good, and what we need to do is have enough time, enough technology, and enough education to help people learn to do what is right, then mankind would really end well. That's been a core philosophy of why we do what we do, and what we've used, basically our technology in every generation, is to kill more and more and more people, and us try to be on the throne and be in control. And it's interesting, at least from a philosophical standpoint, you have 1,000 years in a perfect environment where Jesus is king and he rules, and people who came out of that, they marry, they have children. Satan is locked up, so there's no evil for 1,000 years. And at the end of 1,000 years, God releases Satan and demonic activity for one last time to tempt. And it is amazing. A significant population out of a perfect environment with the best education and the great relationships with a 1,000-year track record turn away from the God who loves them to sit on their own throne and rule their own lives. And I just thought, isn't it like God just to say, you know what, let me explain to you the heart of man. Remember Jesus when people were asking him some questions and he denied them? He said, no, you don't understand. I understand what's in the heart of man. See, we all basically think we're a little bit better than we are. In fact, we think we're a lot better than we are. And yet, you find people that have been in desperate situations, and you read of stories when under the right circumstances and amazing duress, it is almost unthinkable what the human heart can do. You read the stories of what happened in Nazi Germany, and we all think that's those other evil people. That's in the heart of human beings when threatened, and control, and power, and greed. And God says, I'm going to deal with that.